All right, in today's video, we're going to be reviewing the quadratic formula, okay? You learned this in Math 2, all right, but we need it to do our work this week, all right? So if you remember, the quadratic formula is opposite b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2a. Okay, and you get your a, b, and c from your equation. We know our equation is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Okay, and that's where you get your a, b, and c. Now, we are not going to be just typing this into a calculator. Okay, we are going to be reducing it to find the solutions. Okay, all right, so we're going to start. So we're not going to do any that are perfect. Okay, we're going to do all ones that you have to rationalize the square root. Okay. All right, so let's just get down to it. So number 1 is going to be x squared plus 6x plus 7 equals 0. Okay? All right, so there's nothing in front of this x squared, but we know it's an understood 1. So my a here is 1, my b is 6, and my c is 7. So we're going to plug that into the formula. It's opposite b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a. Now, we are going to simplify this in 3 parts, okay? You simplify your b if you need to. Well, we don't need to, so we just bring it down. Plus or minus. The next thing. Now, this is where people misunderstand what I say, so I'm going to try to make this clear. You simplify what's underneath the radical. This is the only thing you simplify. You leave the radical alone. So I need to figure out what 6 squared minus 4 times 1 times 7 is. We're going to type that into the calculator. Just like that with no radical, no nothing. Okay, just what's underneath the radical. So I type it in and I get 8. Okay. So this is 8. So what's underneath the radical is equal to 8. So I'm going to say the square root of 8. And the third thing you simplify is the 2 times 1, which will be 2. Okay? Now, next step is you need to rationalize this guy. Okay? So we're going to come here to the side and we're going to rationalize it. So 8, we need to break 8 down. Well, 8 is 2 times 4, and then 4 is 2 times 2. You circle your pairs. So that means that this is going to be 2 square root of 2. So this equals negative 6 plus or minus 2 square root of 2 over 2. The last step is you have to reduce in 3 places. If you cannot reduce in all 3 places, then you can't reduce. Your 3 places are this guy, and this guy. They all 3 have to have something in common. Well, they're all divisible by 2. Negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. 2 divided by 2 is 1. And then 2 divided by 1 is 1. We can rewrite this as negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 2. And that's your answer. Okay? All right, let's do another one. Let's do another one. So number 2. Number 2 is going to be 10x squared minus 10x minus 1 is equal to 0. All right, my a is 10, my b is negative 10, and my c is negative 1. We're going to plug this in. Opposite of b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a. We're going to simplify in our 3 places. The 10 simplified, so we bring it down. I need to figure out what this is. Okay? So let's do it by hand this time because we're going to have to do it by hand in a minute. Negative 10 squared is 100. 4 times 10 is 400. It's 40. Lord have mercy. 4 times 10 is 40. And then times negative 1 is going to be negative 40. So this is really 100 plus 1 plus 40, which is 140. Okay? And then 2 times 10 is 20. We need to rationalize the 140. So I know that's going to be, I know it's 14 and 10. And this is 2 and 7. And this is 2 and 5. Circle your pairs. I've got a pair of 2's. So that means I can pull a 2 out. And this is left underneath there. So we're going to say 7 times 5 and get 35. Okay? So this is going to be 10 plus or minus 2 square root of 35 over 20. 3 places it can reduce in. They are all divisible by 2, so let's divide it by 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 2 divided by 2 is 1, so I'm going to leave it alone. And then 20 divided by 2 is 10. And that would be your answer. Okay? All right, one last one that's not imaginary. Okay? So the next one is going to be, so number 3 is going to be 7x squared minus 8x minus 24 is equal to 0. Okay? All right, my A is 7, my B is negative 8, and my C is negative 24. Okay? So we type this into our, we plug this into our formula. Opposite B plus or minus the square root of B squared minus 4A times C. All over 2 times A. Okay? Simplifying your 3 places. 8 can't be simplified, so we just write 8 down. I'm going to simplify what's underneath this radical by hand. And really, when you simplify it by hand, you're just simplifying this term first. So negative 8 squared is 64 minus, then simplify this last guy. So you're going to say 4 times 7, which is 28, and then you're going to times it by negative 24, which is going to be negative 672. Okay? These two negatives turn to a positive. So I'm going to say 672 plus 64, and I get 736. Okay? All over 2 times 7, which is 14. Okay? All right. We need to break down this radical. So we're going to come over here and we're going to break down 736. So I'm going to use my calculator. Let's see, 736. Let's see, can it be divisible by 8? It is. It's divisible by 8. It's 8 and 92. Well, 8 is 4 times 2, which is 2 times 2. 92 can be divided by 92 can be divided by 4. 23 is prime, so we leave it alone. And then 4 is 2 and 2. Circle your pairs. I got a pair of 2's, another pair of 2's. So I can pull out 2 times 2. On the radical is going to be what's left over, the 2 and the 23. So this is going to be 4 square root of 46. Okay? So come up here and it's 8 plus or minus 4 square root of 46 over 14. Check your 3 places. They're all divisible by 2, so it's going to be 4 plus or minus 2 square root of 46 over 7. Okay? All right, so you're going to have a delta math on these type of quadratic equations, and these are your irrational ones. And then I'm going to do another video on imaginary. So work on the delta math on this, and then come back and we'll do the imaginary ones too. All right?